Look, I am just a guy that sent in an anonymous, a nobody email to op-ed at New York Times. I had been published in one literary magazine. I had been working on a book that nobody was eager to read, and out of the blue, I sent it to New York Times, and one day they kind of came in and plucked me out of anonymity and said, hey, this is a big story. But when they even told me that it was going to be on the Times, I was shocked. But then when I actually saw it on the actual thing, they threw it on the front page, and it was almost like the world changed.
How can you be surprised, though, about the way that people responded? You're throwing, with an op-ed like that, it's like throwing red meat to a pack of wild animals.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I think is different about what I wrote, which is that I think the world is full of a lot of smart people saying smart things, and usually their finger is pointed at other people. You guys are doing this wrong.
You're pointing at yourself.
And I was saying, look, I was taking accountability for my behavior and saying I came to see that the way I was acting was impacting people in a negative way, and I take responsibility for it.
But is Wall Street to blame for that? To say Wall Street doesn't do any good, is it really doing worse than lots of other industries? When I look at how tons of industries get paid, the media industry, the sports industry, is Wall Street really that much worse? Should there be this awful populist opinion?
First of all, I am not blaming anybody. Second of all, I think this is a way bigger thing than Wall Street. I think the response I got, which came from all over the world, all different classes of people, is something cultural. It's about the red carpets on Hollywood. It's about the pro football players that make all this money. It's about this crazy focus on the Mega Millions lottery all the time.
But if you had been paid the $8 million you thought you should have been paid that year, would this have even happened, or would you be sitting here still sitting front row at the Knicks and going to the Super Bowl in 2 days?
No, I mean, what I will say is that I was working on my sort of spiritual issues and my addiction issues for a long time. So right when I got to the point that I was ready to leave Wall Street, it was a really scary thing, but it was where I was going. I mean, it was the product of 8 years of work.
Sam, what do you say to the folks who are watching right now thinking to themselves, what a jerk, right? We had such a good thing going, the financial crisis. Since the financial crisis, okay, it's not so good anymore. And to the degree that the PR department and the boards of directors are listening to Sam Polk right now, it's only going to get worse. What do you say to those people?
You mean for the Wall Street people?
Yes, your former colleagues.
Look,
and peers out there.
Look, I mean, my story is just a story of one guy. And I'm saying that, when I was on Wall Street, I used to believe that the issue of whether I was going to get paid $1 million or $2 million was sort of the most critical thing in the world. And one of the things that I came to see, and not because I'm sort of some moral hero or, the most honorable guy in the world, but because I came to a teacher that started teaching me different things, and I came to see the world from a different perspective and say, hey, whether or not we're getting paid this much on Wall Street is less important than people that are actually really struggling out there.
But Sam, now here you are in the media. You're on TV. You're writing a book. I mean, an adrenaline addict's playground. So couldn't one argue, babe, you're doing the same thing, you're just doing it on a bigger stage?
I tell you what, there's two things. First of all, I never expected this. But second
Hold on. You send an op-ed to the New York Times and you didn't expect it. What did you think they were going to do with it?
I thought they would do what they did, what had happened to me so many times before, that something I sent out got rejected.
But you sent it with a goal. When you go up to bat, you want to hit the home run. When you get on the front page, that's the homer.
I hear you. It was a fortuitous thing.
Okay, but to Stephanie's point, Sam, you acknowledge being addicted to money. And before being addicted to money, you acknowledge being addicted to some other things, too.
Yeah.
Can you not get addicted to publicity just the same way as you're addicted to money? And the way that money drove you to make bad decisions, publicity could drive you to make bad decisions?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I'm working on right now, literally, is that I know and have come to believe that there is nothing that I can do today, tomorrow, yesterday that makes me more valuable than I was when I was born. So literally, this New York Times thing came out, and the world is sitting here saying, hey, Sam, you're interesting. For your 15 minutes of fame, you're interesting. And my challenge is to say, no. I'm the same guy that I was, and my focus is trying to stay grounded, and that's what I'm doing.
Sam, what do you think about the fact that your peers, so many people on Wall Street who you respect, who you worked with, who I know, they're mad about this? What do you think about that?
You know what, let me just say this, that some of my best friends are on Wall Street. I'm staying with my mentors at my mentor's house right now.
Who's funding your charity, a Wall Street guy?
He's definitely, and I'll tell you what, if there's anybody in the world that has taught me lessons about generosity and kindness, it is literally that man who you know. And I love him. And frankly, I love the people on Wall Street. And this idea that I'm talking about of,
but
let me just say,
hurt them.
well, look, I'm saying that I was addicted to money, okay? I'm saying that I was using money and power to fill my soul, okay? That's all I'm saying. And however they take that, that's sort of their business.
Okay. You don't think your piece was damaging to their reputation? I mean, I read all the comments. It really seemed like you were waving a flag and people said, you're right, those Wall Streeters, they suck. And those are the guys who backed you, Sam.
Look, I understand what you're saying, and I like the people on Wall Street. I thought my story was really important to share out there, and I'm glad I did it.
A lot of folks who still hold positions like that, Sam, pull down big paychecks and bonuses, are very philanthropic. Perhaps your mentor, the guy you just described, who's helping to back your nonprofit, is a philanthropic guy. I haven't met him yet. Stephanie knows him well. It seems to me, through some more than casual interaction at times, that those people justify the money they earn by their philanthropy. Does philanthropy make it okay?
For me, it's not about that. I didn't, leave Wall Street in order to start a...
No, I understand that. You've done something different.
But let me just say, for me, I literally have no judgment on the individuals on Wall Street.
I'm not asking you to judge. I'm just asking, there's this... I love philanthropy. We should all celebrate philanthropy. But does being philanthropic make it okay to make more dough than just about anybody else out there? I don't know. I'm just asking you because you've been there and now you're a philanthropist.
I honestly think that you're asking a question that requires a judgment. All I'm saying is that I came to understand that I was trying to fill something inside me with money, and it was never going to work. And so what I realized was that it wasn't about outside things. It wasn't about money or power or publicity. What I needed to do to fill this pain inside me was to get help. And I started talking to a teacher, and she started teaching me things about handling myself with integrity and speaking with honesty and honor. And
when you look at the explosion of Wall Street wealth in the last 10 years, specifically in the hedge fund universe, given your perspective, do you think those people are just built in a different way? To get to that billionaire status, are you somewhere on the sociopath track? In your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, I believe that people that are focusing on accumulating money in the same way that I was, at the expense of everything else, that there is something that they're trying to fill inside, that there may be some spiritual issue there.
And for those who want to follow the track that you did, is the only answer to walk away? Because you did have the benefit of having made all that money. Yeah. You could walk away and reflect and think and read. There are people who are teachers who hate it, coaches who think it's awful, and they don't have that luxury. Wall Street gave you that luxury.
Absolutely, and I don't believe, honestly, that it's about being on or off Wall Street. What it is, it's about finding balance and finding some sense of a core identity or a core sense of strength that says, I'm valuable no matter how much money I make, no matter who I work for, no matter what my business card says. And however people need to get there, if that's what they choose, that's what I support.
But you think a super rich person can be balanced?
I do, sure, absolutely.